Hello dear students. Let's continue our discussion on circular queue using array. And just in the previous video, we saw how to delete an element from a circular queue. We also saw empty function. This delete function was seen in the previous video. In this video, we will see how to display a circular queue. Now just imagine that the queue given is as shown on the right side here. If you are asked what are the values stored in the queue, give me them in correct order, then your order has to be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Because as you see, front is 2. So second element, that is 30, is the frontmost. So after 30, it has to be 40, then 50, and from 50, you will wrap around to 0th place. And you see that the last element is stored at first place. Rear is 1, as you see. Just check that. Value of rear is 1. So 70 is the final element. So if you are displaying the queue, then the output should be this 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Isn't it? Going from front to rear in the circular queue. Okay. So let's see if we are executing this. If we are executing this display function, what will happen? First of all, it is needless to say that we are again passing the address of the queue to this. Watch out that option 3 in the main program is for display. Option 2 was delete, where we checked for empty and then we called delete. Option 3 is for display, and for displaying we are passing address of the queue. So the pointer P here, as usual, is going to point to queue. Now, in the display function, we have declared one local variable I, but very importantly, you see, we check for underflow. It is so important, isn't it? If you are displaying the queue, you should first check, is the queue empty? If the queue is empty, then you must print underflow and not go to else at all. And empty condition is, of course, if P arrow front is -1, but as you see, at the moment front is 2. So this condition fails and we land in else. So we have decided that there are some elements in the queue and we will print them. So let's see how we are printing the elements. I, the local variable, starts with P arrow front. So I is 2 because front is 2, as you see. Correct? Rightly so, we want to display 30 to start with. So I, the counter, has begun with 2. And now we hang on in this while loop. This while will repeat as long as I is not equal to P arrow rear. Now I is 2, isn't it? And P arrow rear, observe the box. P arrow rear is 1. So 2 not equal to 1 is true. It means that the while will continue as long as I does not reach rear and I is far from rear. So the loop will continue. And when the loop runs, we are printing P arrow AI, that is A2. So 30 will get printed. And now this line again where the mod operator is used. Substitute the values in the bracket here. I is 2, 2 plus 1 percent phi because size is phi. That's 3% phi. 3% phi is 3. So I, which is 2, will now become 3. And surely, look, we have displayed 30 on the screen. Now after displaying 30, we have plan of printing 40. So I has become 3. Okay. So we continue running the while loop now and checking the conditions. Whether the condition is true, we will enter the while and print that particular element. So let's go back to while and check the condition. What is I now? Check I is 3. Is it not equal to rear? Rear is 1. So we have still not reached the rearmost place of the array. And hence we will print P arrow AI. AI means A3, so 40 gets printed. And now the line I becomes I plus 1, but I is at the moment 3. 3 plus 1% phi is 4% phi. So I is 4. So the new value of I is 4. Just check. I was 3, but now I has become 4 and we have a plan of printing 50. Okay, let's go back to while. Now I is 4 and it is still not equal to P arrow here, true condition. So we print P arrow AI, that is A4. So 50 will get printed, correct? And now the statement, I is equal to I plus 1% size, but I is at the moment 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5% 5 is 0. So look at this, I which was 4 now abruptly becomes 0. Because after printing 50, we want to print 60, isn't it? So I has become 0. Great. Now what? Now, as usual, the loop runs. Remember now I is 0. So when you go back to this while loop, I is 0 and P arrow here is 1. They are still not equal. True condition. So we print P arrow AI where AI is 60. And after printing 60, I becomes 0 plus 1% 5. That is 1% 5. That is 1. So I which was 0 has now become 1. This is the value of I now. So after printing 60, we want to print 70. So I has become 1. Now comes the fun part here. You just check that I has become 1. So what will while do? I is 1 and rear is also 1, and we are telling while you should repeat. You should repeat only when they are not equal. But now I is 1 and rear is 1, so the loop breaks. Check that this loop breaks and we are out of the loop. And just check that the queue has not got displayed entirely. One value is still remaining to be displayed, that is 70, the rearmost. And it had to happen because we have written a condition like this, that as I reaches P arrow rear, stop the loop. So I has reached P arrow rear, I is at 1 and rear is at 1, then the loop breaks. So the only last element, that is 70, has not yet got displayed. No issues. After the while loop, we will write one extra printf where we will print rearmost element, that is first element of the array will get printed, that is 70 will get printed, and that ends the display function. So extra printf has been written for that pending element which did not get displayed. Well, that's display, isn't it? I hope you have understood. Then I have written destroy. Now, destroy is commonly not written. In fact, it is never written. But in one of the Mumbai University papers, just once they asked destroy function, you can instantly destroy the queue by making front and rear both -1. Then everything is lost. The queue becomes empty, isn't it? And if the queue becomes empty, we say that we have destroyed all the elements of the queue, but then it's not at all required. Okay, so you saw one thing, that in this entire programming of circular queue, which I hope that you found it interesting, we have made use of percent operator. Percent operator was used in display function. In delete function, we saw how front is incremented by using percent operator, and even in insert we saw how position was decided using percent operator. By the way, main program has that menu, and option 4 is for destroy, option 3 is for display, option 5 is exit, and that's it. That's main. Well, above main I have declared all the functions. Now these declarations are important because I have defined all these functions below main. And as you all know, if the definition of the function is below the call, below the main, then declaration has to be done above. So all the declarations have been done. By the way, what are the programs that we have seen till now in Stack and Queue? Let's put a list. We have seen Stack using linked list. Recall, there was a pointer called top, which was null initially and all that. Then we saw Stack using array. Recall, there was an integer counter called top, which was -1 initially. Then we saw linear queue. Linear queue using linked list. Two pointers, front and rear, were null initially. But we also saw linear queue using array. In this example, in this program, front and rear were integer counters and they were -1 initially. We also saw circular queue using linked list. Yes, we saw this code. And circular queue using array. This was that latest code, latest program that we saw. The current topic going on is circular queue using array. So a long list of implementations, various implementations of stack and queue have been studied. And later in this course of data structure, we will see applications of stack and queue. Like there is one chapter, separate chapter called expression evaluation. Expression evaluation, where you will see what is prefix, infix, and postfix expression. And to solve various problems on these expressions, we will make heavy use of stacks. And also in many topics of graphs and heap and binary heap, we will be using queues and many such data structures. So in this series, we have seen how to make a stack and queue, how to create. And as we proceed in our course, we will see what are their applications. I mean, why do you create a stack or queue? What is the use of last in, first out or first in, first out? Thank you very much.